Welcome back to Can Angels Fly for part two of Who, What Lives Within. This is spiritual talk. I just wanted to talk to you guys today. I just feel like talking. And I'm talking about a subject that has really been on my mind lately. In part one, I left off telling you a story about a young man, age 37, that had been a part of the military, that had that suffered from post-traumatic stress and a whole gang of demonic influence, evil demonic influences, including alcoholism, sexual uh, deviant. Um, he had a lot going on. I did mention that he did eventually succumb to those influences and they took him up out of here. And that's the main objective, is what I'm getting to. That's the main objective. When I talked about the LBG community and also the straight community and the promiscuousness and the deviancy and the the lack of class in doing what we do, the overall outcome, the projection is thus far revealing the death, demise, and decay of individuals and overall humanity. And I guess that's my stance on the situation. This young man also lost his life, yes, under the influence of various dark forces, as I mentioned. And so, right in this part, I like to kind of talk about what happened after he died. Right after, at the time he was pronounced just dead. What happened, from my perspective? Um, I knew he was dead before I was even notified because when he died, it wasn't just his spirit that left his body. It was all of those entities that had taken possession, housed themselves within his body, and governed his um, activities, his thoughts, um, those kind of things. They came to me and they walked to my house. I knew who they belonged to. How did I know this set of spirits, basically owner, keeper? Um, as I mentioned, he had post-traumatic disorder, and that was a spirit of high anxiety. It was, I almost had the word, what's the word I'm looking for? It's paranoia. Paranoia. That's mostly the spirit, and deep, deep, deep depression. These were the spirits that manifested in my home and stood around and about me. I was like, and them were the only ones, but all I could say is, he gone. I know he's gone. He's gone. Why did they come to mess with me? I want to say a bad word. Well, I guess it's because I really tried to minister to the young man, and just talk to him and tried to comfort him. And demonic forces did not. If I was to tell y'all that story, I might have to tell y'all that story one day. Matter of fact, I should take this opportunity right here, and this would be a part two, the story of the demons that left from within that brother upon his death. That's what this part two is going to be about. So guess what? I just feel like talking today. It's going to be a part three, y'all, because I got other stuff to talk about. This is spiritual talk. So let me tell you the story. So this person literally drank themselves into a coma, basically. Why did he drink? Again, it was to suppress the demonic energies and demons within him. They would talk to him non-stop. They would torment him. He was plagued and haunted by those that he killed, took their lives um, in his line of work, which was working for the military. Um, he, like I said, he traveled the world and he frequented the legation houses and um, other. I was trying to think of the different cultural uh, names. We call them the red light districts. He did that, and he picked up a lot of demonic sexual demons from those experiences. I shared about how he had a relationship with a young woman in New Orleans, and she was into the dark arts, and she put some stuff down on him, just calling demons up. He had, as I mentioned in the first video, layers and layers and layers upon demons, and he dealt with them. He was a Libra. I think he was like 37, and he always smiling. He was very charming and charismatic. He was uh, a gentleman, um, and he wasn't anything romantic to me. His girlfriend uh, shared intimate details about him with me, and overall, the brother was he was messed up. The outside package was amazing, beautiful. Made the money and had the cars and the charisma, like I spoke of, but it was that which what lived within him. So when he died, those spirits came to me to my home. He died in the hospital. He was in a coma several days prior before dying. He drank himself into a coma, trying to suppress uh, those demons. And he probably had some more I didn't know about, but them were the ones I knew of. I knew them up close and personal. As I said, mentioned, why did they come to me? Because I tried to minister to him. For a very long time. I was there. He would call on me and going through the post-traumatic stress thing and the regrets and the depression and the fear, and he would just cry and I consult. So that's the only thing I could come up with. So when he died, he gave up his ghost, and not only his ghost, but those other entities that lived within. They appeared in my home, and at the time I was pregnant um, with twins. And I remember uh, lying on the floor to take a nap. My back used to hurt me, and I was asleep. And then I kept feeling this heaviness, this heaviness. I was the only one at home. This heaviness on me. So I opened my eyes. I was so uncomfortable, y'all. I had to be about 8 months pregnant, so I was huge between them. You see, woo. And so I opened my eyes. The house pitch black. I don't never have no lights on in the house at night. It's pitch black, and all I can see, from the street lights kind of shine through. I had sheer curtains, and so it was like that light moonlight illumination in my home. It was spirits everywhere, ghostly shadow spirits. They were everywhere. They were walking and marching, and they was just everywhere. How again did I know they belonged to him, and I knew he had died and released his ghost in them? Is because again, those different spirits he dealt with manifested in the physical in certain forms, and so in the spirit they still have an appearance. They still carry an energy. So when I wake, I'm like, oh my God, Mara, like, oh, I'm going crazy. And I'm like a kid under the cover, and I pull cover. Like, what I'm doing? I'm shaking like a leaf on a tree. I'm shaking, I'm shaking, I'm shaking, I'm shaking. And I was like, I can't take it no more. I can't take it no more. So I grabbed my keys off of the cocktail table. I'm on the floor still because again, my back. So I'm laying on the floor. Reach up, grab my car keys, yank them down. I'm on my hands and knees, crawling backwards out of the house. I get to the door. I turn around. They everywhere. I mean, they everywhere. And I reach up, touch that doorknob, and to turn it so I can get on up out of there. And this was in the middle of the night, but I was about to get up out of there. I had my hand on the doorknob, and I heard Holy Spirit say to me, Nancy. You always hear me say, Nancy, don't go out of this home. Don't go out. Don't go out. Go back. Lay back down. Lay back down. Go back. What? I'm at the door now. And it says no. It says if you leave, you will never find another moment of peace nor rest. They will continue to follow you and taunt you for the rest of your life. Go lay back down. Y'all, it took everything in me. The door was like cracked. Oh, my way out. I thought about it. I said, the rest of my life. And now, mind you, y'all, I'm having like chest pains by now because I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm like, okay. So I closed the door, I lock it, crawl backwards away from the door, and I go lay in the middle of the floor, and they all over me. They was all over me, y'all. They was everywhere. And Spirit said, "Hey, I got you. They can't touch you. They can't touch you." I'm like, "You sure? You sure?" So I'm laying there. I'm balled up. I'm trembling because it was scary. I'm trembling. They everywhere. And when if I look up from my under the covers, because I could feel them. You know what I'm saying? But when I look out from under the covers, I could see them all over me. They couldn't touch me physically, but they was swarming all over me. All of they was everywhere. It was like they was rotating in and out, and like some get a chance to try to come at me, and them couldn't, so they rotating some more. They was everywhere. They was everywhere. So I laid there. I couldn't sleep. I did not sleep the whole night through. I was so afraid. My heart was beating. My chest was literally sore the next day. Next day. So when the sun comes up, I get up, I take my hygiene. Now I'm on my way to the hospital. Like I said, he done drank himself into a coma now. And I had bought this little teddy bear, crystal teddy bear, to take to him. And I had anointed that teddy bear. I had been to the hospital the day before and prayed over him and told him I was going to come back, and have a talk with him. Now, he was in a coma. I'm coming back to talk with you. And don't you go nowhere is what I'm saying. Don't go nowhere. But he went somewhere, that night. Anyway, I take my hygiene. I get up. I go to the hospital to find out he had died the night before. Okay, well, I'm like traumatized. All was well, all was well, all was well, all was well. Got to deal with it. So, okay, he's gone. It's time to bury him. He gone. After he dropped in the ground, I'm standing in my home in the kitchen, washing dishes, looking out the back window. And, of course, that initial experience was still went heavy on my heart. That was heavy, real heavy. Another thing about me that I can share with you, you can always carry when you hear me talk spiritual talk. I keep my windows open. And I'm talking about like shades and blinds where people be closed in their house. Oh no, I got to let the light in because the light destroy some of these entities I'm talking about. Um, at night, my house is completely black, but my shades are always up. There's always light, and I try to keep my windows clean so as much of it can come through. I wash my walls and my floors. I'm telling you, you got to do all that because you have to keep your house cleansed from the different people bringing different spirits into your house. Now, I got off subject, but that's just to let you know I'm gonna bring that up in other spiritual talk conversations. So back to me standing in the kitchen, washing my dishes, looking out the back window, and I'm talking to God. I'm like, that was deep. And I did what you asked, and, what you suggested. And, but that bothers me. And so, God just instructed me to pray for that brother. And so I prayed for him, which God had been already, because that's why I told him I was going to come back and we needed to talk. And as I was standing there, because my heart was grieving, the brother just died. I know what he was dealing with on the spiritual level, you know what I'm saying? And I know what I had experienced. So I was just praying. I was just praying for protection. And God was like, I got you. I said, God, I can't deal with that. And so as I was standing there praying, guess what? All them spirits I just told you about, they was lined up. They got lined up. And to the right of me was my basement, stairs headed to the basement. And as I was praying, I didn't know this was going to happen. I was just praying because I was like messed up. The little demons was some of them was little guinea midget things. I don't know what it was, but they were lined up. I'm looking at them like, I'm just praying like, wow, this is like, they was putting like a straight line, like in elementary school. And they had to walk, like with them little oompa loompas on Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, like boom, 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 and they marched down into the basement. They were descended or directed. The basement was like, it is like an example or analogy of into hell, into the pits of hell. Because I prayed for them to go. They got to go. And they got lined up and sent to the pits of hell in a straight narrow line. It was crap. But when I shared that, I said I was just going to use that for part 2 to let you know that those that have been plagued with dark demonic energies and influences upon their life, those that have become possessed, that once they leave their body, once they die, they aren't the only thing. Your spirit, a person's spirit, is not the only thing evicted or ejected from this body. It is also the other spirits that have manipulate themselves into one's body or being, and has dwelled with them for however long. Those two are ejected. What I guess I need you to really take from this is that, again, those spirits, that brother's spirit was gone, gone to the off so he could be re-educated, healed, but those other spirits, those dark spirits, they did not go back to the all, to God. They continue to roam this plane. And only through my communion and conversation with God did they have a final place. So when we have lost loved ones in our ignorance and we know they was plagued with something, and they left this world one way or another, guess what? Those entities that were plaguing them didn't leave. They needed to be cast down and bound. So that was just part 2 of spiritual talk. On the part 3, just wanting to talk to you. Bye.